dktv brand at YouTube, DK Detroit headphones. More coming this fall. Movie reviews. We're going to talk about the White Boy Rick movie and the impact it has on society's myths when it comes to legends or drug dealers. And the movie itself, 1 to 5 stars. I'd give it a 2.5, 3. It was a lot of dialogue. It made interesting or novel for a story because it was a white kid in the city of Detroit selling drugs. But here's where I get an understanding of everything. You got to remember, around this time in the '80s, I had to be only 3 or 4, so I was not a part of the game. I didn't understand it, what was going on. Later on, now looking back, I can get an idea of what was going on. But White Boy Rick was brought into the game by FBI and state police who didn't understand yet the inner workings of the drug world. At this time, you have to remember these things were new. He was one of the first to cooperate with the government and let them all know what exactly was going on. So with that being said, him coming into the drug game from the start was iffy. He didn't come into the game as a dealer or a hustler with the opportunities that turn 1 into 2, 2 into 4, 5 into 10, 10 into 20. He came in being paid by the police to give up information and give up the information of the organization he was a part of, which was a group of brothers called the Curry Brothers. And they were one of many sets or groups of drug dealers throughout the city. And the novel of his story came in because he was white. Now, as looking back, they made it seem like he was some type of kingpin who earned his way up. He never earned his way up in the game. He actually told going in, and there was a key part where he even spoke in a documentary where he was being recorded, having an interview from jail where he said he was in over his head. So to me, that says he knew what he was doing was all the way wrong. He was in a sense a kid being greedy for the money. So he was in over his head, just going around getting people busted. Which I'm not advocating drug dealing. I'm just speaking in a sense of him being glorified as a drug dealer. That was not the case. He played the part of a drug dealer with the police that brought him in. And once he stopped dealing with those police officers, he started dealing on his own. And that's when they chose to arrest him, because when they started having him give them information and selling drugs, selling drugs was never part of the plan on his own. Once he departed ways with the police, he started making money on his own. Yes, because he still knew the players, but the players didn't know that he was the one telling on everyone, and everyone was getting caught up because of him. Now, in today's world, you would say, hey, you would know there's someone telling on everyone, everyone's getting busted. But at this time, you have to remember, crack and cocaine was just being brought into the streets in the '80s. So no one knew how to play the game, or no one knew what the next move would be from someone investigating them, or even how the police could pay someone for information. So this wasn't in the minds of anyone at this time, because this was a brand new game. This was a brand new system. This was a brand new way of thinking. They had new ways of entrapment. Now it's been ran 1,000 times in every neighborhood. But at this time, the Curry brothers didn't understand what was going on. The police didn't know how to investigate properly. And so all this played a part in the mix of him becoming this legend or this Hollywood story. Now, here's where the system tricked White Boy Rick. They told him that if he tells, they would try to work with the system to reduce his sentence or things like that. Once he gave the information, the prosecutors never went in return and tried to help him change anything. For the reason being, he also had the mayor's niece set up some family members to where they ended up doing jail time, and some police ended up in jail. So it was political people that ended up behind bars who more than likely, in my opinion, threatened the prosecutors' jobs and things like that. So no one looked back to help White Boy Rick. They threw him under the bus for the reason being he told on such powerful people that if they helped him reduce his sentence, those people's jobs would be at danger. For getting the mayor's brother-in-law and other people charged with certain charges and offenses. So, with that being said, in retrospect, looking back at everything, his story was nothing like the legendary stories of the ones who work their way up, who grind, even though it was illegal, but they still made a name for themselves in a powerful way, in a way that is glorified or is legendary today. His case was one of a disgusting case from the beginning to the end. He's still in jail now, and he went in at the age of 17. It's disgusting from all angles. But this is DK Detroit brand, dktv. These are my movie reviews, and make sure you check out dktv brand on YouTube, and go check out the movie if you want. Those are just my opinions on it. Holla.